Hey, welcome back to Square Body Stuff. I'm Chad, and we're going to be working on the old 1976 Custom Deluxe C10 that we got at an auction. If you watched the last video, me and my son Shelman, we got this little 250 straight six to fire up for a little bit. Carburetor needs to be rebuilt, which I've got a kit for that. But before we do that, we also had some issues with, we didn't have a key. So I had to hot wire the ignition. I just jumped the wire from the coil to the battery, or from the battery to the coil, whichever direction you want to call it. So we'd have power to the coil, and it fired up. It ran for a few seconds. We just dumped some fuel down the carburetor, and there was no bad noises. So that's a promising sign that this thing might run and drive eventually without having to pull the engine and rebuild it or anything like that. But before I do anything else, my next step I want to do is put this little guy in there. This is ignition switch, or ignition, not the switch. This is the tumbler. The switch is a whole separate deal, but I've got a new tumbler to put in there with the keys. So we got to pull a steering wheel and get this thing in there. Now I'm not going to show in this video pulling the steering wheel off. I've got a video on how to pull steering wheels. I've also got a video on pulling the locking plate that it's in behind the steering wheel. I'll put those up in a description, or a card up on the corner somewhere. I'm not sure which side it is, but it'll be up in the corner. There'll be cards to those, links to those videos. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the steering wheel off, get the lock plate off, and then we will pick up from there. Now that I got the steering wheel and lock plate and everything out of the way, here's another issue we're having. The turn signal switch, whatever you want to call it, is stripped out. So we'll address that another time. I'm not sure. Pretty sure I don't have any more of these. I've pretty much used all the used ones I've got. Looks like this one's already been glued or been super glued or something. I have epoxied these before and made them work, but this one's kind of dry and crusty. I think I was trying to find a new one and put that in when I go back together with it, but we'll figure that out in another video. But I'll get this out, get the whole turn signal switch assembly, pull it out, and then work on getting the tumbler out. So I'm going to try a little different angle here. I've got a deal strapped to my head. Try not to shake my head around too much to get you a decent video seeing pretty much what I see. Hope it don't make anybody seasick. Gotta take the hazard knob off. And push it in, it helps. See if we can get this pulled out enough, because the wires are running down through the column. But you should be able to pull it out enough to kind of get it out of your way. Now we got to this point, I'll show you what we got going on. We'll have to push this tab in right here, which is access to that little slot. Now the tilt columns are pretty much the same. The slot's just in a little bit different position. There's actually a little more room to get some stuff on the tilt columns, but should be able to stick a pick in there to release that button. It'll be a little tough to get to. And a screwdriver would work also. Might work a little bit better. Boom. There you go. And it just slides right out. That's about all there is to it. Take the new one. Get it wiggled in there. There we go. Now I'm pretty sure out there in the field I've got a tilt column that's tore apart down to this stage. So we'll run out there real quick and I'll show you a little bit of the difference. It's basically the same. Tumbler comes out the same way, but it just looks a little bit different. So we'll go show you that real quick. Alright, it doesn't have a tumbler in it. I've already got it pulled out. I thought I'd be able to make it work, but that tumbler is junk too. But this little slot right here is where that little tab is that you'll have to push. And there's a screw in here too. I think there's usually a screw in here. Honestly, don't remember if you have to pull it out, but if you're there, pull that out. I don't think it actually holds the tumbler in, but you can pull that screw out, push that tab in, and should be able to pull it out just like we did on the other one. Well, now we got our switch to work. I'm gonna hook the battery back up, check, see if I got voltage, check to see if it even works, and maybe, I don't know, maybe pour a little fuel down the carburetor, see if I can get to fire up with the key. Ain't gonna hurt nothing. Battery's hooked up. Let's see if got anything going on. Whoa. Yeah. Of course, I have to jack the engine up because it's tilted back and the fan's hitting the radiator shroud. I didn't expect it to do that. We'll see if we got voltage to the coil and jack the engine up. See if maybe we get this thing to start. Oh, not sure if you can see that or not. When I turn the key on, we got a voltage gauge that's working. The oil pressure gauge is manual. It's got a line going to it. We got windshield wipers. Let's see if we've got, there's no turn signalage right now for some reason, but we'll figure that out later. Fan, there's no switch for the fan. Oh, and the radio don't work. Dang it. Got the key on. Test light is working. Just need to find my ignition wire. And we've got ignition. I'm going to cycle the key, see if it turns off. Well, I've got a little fuel down the carburetor and the ignition wire hooked up. Let's see if it'll start with the key. At least hit a little bit. This ought to be interesting. Woo! I love it. All right. Now if I just get this carburetor rebuilt, get some fuel plumbed to it. Smells a little smoky. We might have a running engine. I feel like I've accomplished something in this video and hopefully help somebody out there. If you're not sure how to change your ignition tumbler out, once you get to it, it's pretty simple. It's just a matter of getting the steering wheel and all the other garbage out of the way. But with this truck, I'm not going to worry about, well, I might just put this, kind of slap it together and stick the steering wheel on, finger tight for now, because I still need to replace the turn signal deal. That'll be in another video. And yeah, probably lube up the shaft and everything else. So that's probably where I'll end this off. I appreciate you guys watching, and since the last video we've hit 15,000 subscribers, so thanks again to all of you for that big milestone for us. Yeah, still can't believe it. 15,000 of you guys out there watching me play with these old square body trucks. Usually nothing fancy or flashy, just trying to keep them running or get them running and just have fun with them and enjoy them. So with all that said, keep an eye out. Next time we might be rebuilding the carburetor on this thing. We might be doing something else. I don't know. Just see how it goes, see how I feel, what I feel like doing. But until next time, y'all keep your square bodies rolling, and we'll catch you later.